What's up, y'all? My name is DJ Tariq. We're here in the Fame Academy, Fashion, Art, Music, and Entertainment, and I'm chilling today with my boy Eric Orr.
What's up?
Chilling.
Thanks for coming by, man. Thanks for coming and blessing the space.
You have your own gallery? No, not gallery.
It's not a gallery. It's
Studio.
it's a studio space, but we use it as a gallery. We give some of our friends an opportunity to showcase their work, when we have the time. But it's basically where myself and my buddy Sinai, my partner, will be creating. So it's big enough, as you can see, it's 3,500 square feet. So it's big enough to actually showcase artwork and also create artwork. So if you want to call it a gallery,
all right,
you can call it a gallery, but it's an art space. I like to say art space.
Okay.
So More Points is the name of the space that we're in.
More Points.
Yeah.
Excellent. So give the people a little background about Eric Orr and how you started.
Man, I started like most cats, born and raised in the Bronx, came up through the whole hip hop, graffiti era. Went to school with Jazzy J.
DJ Jazzy J.
DJ Jazzy, Zulu Nation, first artist on Def Jam, one of the creators of Def Jam. Like I said, we went to school together. We did speakers. We did speakers in our shop class, and yeah, man. So his path went sort of the music path. Mine went sort of the design path, and we kind of met up again later on in the mid '80s. And he asked me to become his studio designer. So I created his first logo. Became the artist for Strong City Records, which is his label that he'd had with Rocky Bucano. And I did a lot of what they call golden era rappers logos. So, Digging in the Crates, Busy Bee, Masters of Ceremonies, which you guys know as Brand Nubians, Puba, and all those cats like that.
Actually had that vinyl.
Yeah, those cats like that. And, a few more, So, yeah, that's who I am. Man.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. When I was speaking on the interview earlier today, because I know you from your recent work.
Okay.
I don't know you so much from your older work. So
right.
I didn't call you a graffiti artist. I actually didn't know how to classify you. Do you classify yourself as a graffiti artist?
No, I don't, man. I mean, I get labeled that because of the people you hang out with. It's like if you know how that shit works. I'm not a graffiti artist. I like to consider I'm an artist designer.
Okay.
Who grew up in the graffiti era. I mean, I took on some of those some of the things that graffiti artists did because I did what graffiti artists do. But I kind of early on, not really stepped away from it, wanted to do something different, so I created my robot head, which was my nom de plume, my character, my iconography. But yeah, I'm not a graffiti artist, I don't know. But if you need to call me, you can call me whatever you want, as long as the paycheck is good. Yeah.
When did you start? How old were you when you started?
Ah, man. When I started painting, or when I started the graffiti thing, or the writing thing? What do you mean? I mean, I recently was talking to my cousin, and he sent me a picture of one of my earliest paintings, and it was a Charlie Brown.
Wow.
And that had to be like 72, So, but I've been painting, man, since I was little, man. Since about 6. I remember my aunt giving me my first box of oil paints, so I've been painting and drawing and all that shit for ages, man.
What was your influence? What did you see that made you want to do it?
Made me want to paint and draw? It was God gift, man. It was God gift talent that was sort of nurtured by my mother and my aunt, because I come from a family of teachers, educators, and early on they told me that, and for some reason this stuck in my head, everybody's an artist, because there's 3 things that the way this world is made of, and the 3 things are the square, the circle, and the triangle.
Wow.
Everything on the planet is made up of that, or a combination of those things.
Wow.
And for some reason that kind of stuck in my head, so I just, in my subconscious it was there, and I saw when I made my letters, when I made my circles, that, like I said, a combination of those particular shapes made up everything. Like your camera is made up of several circles and squares and triangles and whatever. But yeah, that was one of the things. That's really how I got started and got intrigued by it.
Yeah. But so you didn't come up as a writer.
I wasn't prolific. I would say that I was a writer. I got my first marker from a buddy. His name was Iron Mike. We was on Daly Avenue, right up the street here, actually. And he gave me my first pilot, and my first tag was on St. Margaret's on Daly Avenue. I did my first. I was Eazy-E at the time. Eazy-E / Squirrel. I don't know how I got that name, but Eazy-E at the time. And also a friend of ours in that same neighborhood was Ree. Yeah, so Ree also grew up with myself and Iron Mike. So yeah, that would have been, I would say about 69.
Wow.
Right before we moved out of there, because I moved it from there in 73 to Parkchester. Since and I've been in Parkchester for almost 42 years. Wow.
So being that my goal is to teach young people who are getting into fashion, art, music, and entertainment what they need to do to get into this and be successful. What are you doing now as an artist?
Well, I am an artist. I'm a working artist. I've been blessed.
Professional artist.
I'm a professional artist. That's how I feed my kids. That's how I pay my rent. That's how I travel the world.
You don't work at the post office in the daytime?
I did, and no, not now, but I did early on, like years ago. I mean, you had to supplement it somehow until you find your space, until you find your clientele, until you find your niche, But I would say for them, it's all about the work, man. You got to put the hard work in, man. Nothing is, I mean, you see some cats come up, some writers, famous people come up, and you think it's overnight, and it's never overnight. If you go and talk to them, it's like they've been doing it for years, man, for years. And it's just all of a sudden, someone decides to advocate for them.
We call that the tipping point.
The tipping point. Advocate for them and give them the accolades that they so deserve, And mine was recent. One of mine was recently. I mean, I had Cornell University purchase my comic book from me, and that took almost 30 years. I mean, it's been sitting in my mom's house for 30 years.
Wow.
30 years. And it took this young gentleman by the name of Patrick Reed, who is he's a big enthusiast on hip hop and comics, and he did his due diligence and found the comic book, and said, I couldn't do what I wanted to do because he wanted to do a show about hip hop and comics. He's like, I couldn't do this show without finding the origin.
Wait a minute, hold on. How did he know that it existed?
He was doing his due diligence by doing the research, by doing the hard work, and somehow a link went to another link to another link, and somehow found the book.
So the comic wasn't, what's the word? It wasn't published.
No, it was published. I did everything. It was a DIY project from day one in '86. And it was only 500 pieces. Sold out quickly. Got a little accolades back then. But then, like I said, I was working with Jazzy J, so I went the music route. So I went into the design. I designed it for these, rappers, golden era. And the book kind of got shelved. Because, man, you partying, you traveling, you on a tour and all that stuff. So, that looked good because the money was good. So the book got shelved. I went on to do other things, working with Rain and Serato and stuff like that. And just recently, I think it was 2014, Patrick was putting together this something for Comic-Con. And he wanted to do this thing, how comic books and hip hop, how they come together. Because, there's a lot of rappers out there that take their personalities or their personas from comic books. But yeah, so the comic thing, the comic book, the comic lifestyle was always kind of embedded in graffiti and in the hip hop culture.
Okay.
So Patrick wanted to bring those two together. And in order to do it right, he wanted to go as deep as possible to do it the right way. And somehow he found my book, and it turned out to be the very first hip hop comic.
Incredible. Yeah. So, as a kid watching Saturday morning cartoons, were you influenced? Did
Absolutely.
you draw those
I did all
superheroes?
that. Like I said, one of my first paintings was Charlie Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, I was influenced by all of that stuff. Okay. I mean, Sunday morning, a nice little scenario was when I used to go to church right here, and on the way to church, we would pick up the Daily News, the big thick one with the comics on the outside.
Yeah. Sunday News.
The Sunday News, and my brother and I would sit in the back of the church and go through the comics while the service was going on. So yeah, man.
All right. So what is the goal? What are your immediate goals, and what is the goal of having your art space?
My immediate goals are to continue creating, stay creative, to work hard. I think I told you earlier, maybe do some more work on the outside, do some more public work. Continue to travel, and for this space, like I said, we're here to give opportunities to those who don't have them, because someone gave me an opportunity, someone gave my partner an opportunity. Everyone that's doing well had an opportunity. It's what you do with the opportunity. So we're here to give people opportunity. I mean, it's not the greatest space, but
it's your space.
It's something. Yeah, it's my space.
Yeah. Your work with Rain, talk about that.
Again, working with Rain, which is a DJ hardware company. That came through working with Jazzy J, doing his logo. He was a sponsor for Rain and Serato. They asked me to do a faceplate for him for his anniversary, working with them. I did the faceplate and designed it for them, and it was on the 57 SL. That went well. Of course, every DJ in the United States is using Serato now. And then Serato asked me to do their very first picture disc.
Okay.
So I did the picture disc, that went well as well. And I've been working with them off and on for the past 10 years now. Do
you enjoy working corporate projects?
Corporate projects, it helps fund spaces like this. Okay. I gotta say, I don't bash corporations. There's a good side and bad side to everything. If you're working with them, try not to give up all your intellectual property, because once you give up all your intellectual property, it doesn't belong to you anymore. Right. But you need them because they have a bigger audience. Okay. They have a wider reach, and you want your work to get out to the wider audience. So yeah, I don't mind working with corporations. So when they commission you, is what they do, correct? Yeah. Mm-hmm. To do artwork, right? It belongs to them. No, see, that's the negotiation part. You have to negotiate that part. Sometimes, if you what you're saying is work for hire, you may get more money for it, but you're giving up all your rights to it. Okay. So down the line, if something big comes up with that artwork, you don't get the benefits from it anymore. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'd rather take less money and still own my rights or my artwork. So you're leasing it to them? I lease it to them. Okay. So if something comes up again, I still get paid. Excellent. I take the longer road, man. Mm-hmm. It's easier that way. All right. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here. Oh, man, it's a beautiful space, and we're going to come back and do some more with you. Yes, sir. We're here, and y'all come here, because we're here. That's right. Fame Academy. Serious.